Thank you, Chairman. Again, thanks to the panel, great panel, good discussion. And I noted in my opening statement that, our family was hit with wash checks from the Postal Service and really offensive. I want to credit my bank for finding it and recognizing the fraud and stopping it and helping work with the FBI and the local police to put the people in jail, which I was happy to do. But there are millions of people around the country that's not happening to. So this is such an important hearing. Mr. Bender, I want to start with you, and thanks for the ABA taking a keen interest in this. All the comments I've heard is 100% true. There's just not a way to get at this. It's a whack-a-mole situation, and we don't have enough mole whackers working on it. And one of the things noted was you said maybe $100 billion of losses, and one of my complaints is we can't measure or tackle things we can't see. And I've argued that the bank call report should break fraud losses out of other expense and make it its own line item. Would you support that, Mr. Bendham?
I think it's important for us to track fraud and scam losses in a consolidated manner. That would be one thing we'd be open to looking at doing.
Good, thank you. Also, all of the above law enforcement effort that it takes, and all of you have kind of touched on that in your different remarks and answer of questions. I went to Tyler, Texas to look at the Tyler Law Enforcement Center that the state of Texas has set up there to combat debit fraud. So focused on debit skimming, mostly in fuel pumps operated by cartel-related gangs across Texas, millions of dollars lost per month. The card issuers are the eaters of those losses, not the merchants generally. What should we ask merchants to do in terms of 24 hours, 7-day a week, microscopic telecommunications, pump, point-of-sale fraud? You mentioned ATM, similar issue to prevent skimming. Who wants to tackle that question? Ms. Griffin, you want to tackle that?
I think the only thing I'll say is we have a number of members in the task force I know that have been working on this issue, both related to EBT cards, as Ms. Sanchez-Adams brought up, as well as other types of transactions. There are increasing and emerging technologies they can use at the point of sale devices to detect when a skimming device has been put there, and more investment in that is needed.
The technology I saw is smaller than my little fingernail. It's inserted in the skimmer, both at point of sale at retail and at a gas pump, and it's downloaded by Bluetooth to the criminal who just walks by the pumps on a regular retrieval basis. And this is, not your grandmother's fraud like you're all making the comments. This is super sophisticated. Attorney General Tim Griffin in my state has set up a financial fraud task force to bring all the forces together in Arkansas to combat this. Text, phone, mail, check, the whole effort. So I really commend him for that. Ms. Griffin, I wonder what your view of how those stakeholders should try to work together on a national basis to do best practices. And in my example in Arkansas, tens of thousands of dollars missing, 1.5 million out of my post office just in my little neighborhood was the publicly reported number. We have one postal inspector for the state of Arkansas, 3.4 million people. So can you comment on the role of the FBI, the U.S. Postal Service, and other law enforcement? Thank you, Ms. Griffin, please.
Yes, thank you. First of all, those agencies were all very active at our table, lots of dedicated leaders focusing on this. And one thing that we heard quite often is that the collaboration around scams is a side of the desk activity. There's not a directive from the top that anti-scam activity is a leading priority for law enforcement, and one of the actions that we believe can be facilitated by naming scams as a national priority to mount a coordinated response is to direct law enforcement to create greater resources towards those kinds of collaborations, because as you rightly mentioned, they will yield benefits.
Yeah, and it's a cross-Congress problem. I mean, we don't control the FTC on this committee, and yet the FTC and the FCC should be very involved here due to the transmission means that you've all addressed, like in telecommunication-based scams, which is the fastest growing, the most accurate. You've all testified to that. So I think we've got to link the financial services industry with, the transmission capabilities, which is mail, and telephone and text and internet. So I want to thank the panel. Mr. Muser, thank you for a great hearing, and I yield back.